Game on, Brick Fanatics! I have here 40805 Arcade Machine, which is a neat little Lego set that you can purchase right now on the Lego website if you so choose, using our affiliate links if you want to help out the channel, which is absolutely joyful. I really like this. It is a small little build, but it has so much packed inside it. Gaming Lego sets have become increasingly important to the Lego group in recent months and years. Yes, there are a bunch of licensed IP characters and games that are getting the Lego treatment. You've got Minecraft, you've got Fortnite, we had Overwatch a few years ago, but now we've got things like Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, Animal Crossing, The Legend of Zelda, Horizon. There's so many of these licensed sets because the Lego group has realized that there's a huge overlap between fans of video games and fans of Lego. Who could have guessed? But the problem with licensed sets, right, is you have to pay a license, and the Lego group doesn't necessarily want to have to pay every time that they make one of these sets, no matter how lucrative they might be. So we've seen the Lego group recently trying out various different gaming inspired Lego sets that aren't necessarily tied to a particular IP that is owned by a third-party company. If you look at the 2025 Dreams sets, you will see a bunch of these sets that are based on gaming controllers or some kind of other gaming related paraphernalia, and now we've got this arcade machine as well, something which is vaguely similar to what the Lego group has done with, for example, the PAC-MAN Arcade machine, but in a much smaller form factor, and significantly not actually featuring any one game, although there are some game references in here and some references to wider Lego fandom which are absolutely delightful. The game that this particular arcade machine is playing is just called Space, and I like to think that it is a reference to Command & Conquer Red Alert and the absolutely fantastic performance given by Tim Curry in that game. Here he is, in my favourite, possibly my favourite video game quote of all time.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Wonderful. I love that that is too ridiculous even for Tim Curry, and he's barely stifling a laugh there. It's just fantastic. Anyway, this is almost certainly not a deliberate reference just to that one line in that video game, but it is fun to have this space set, which, by the way, if you look at this brilliant printed piece on the side, you've got the, it definitely looks like the Galaxy Explorer to me, so I reckon that's a reference to a bygone Lego set that a lot of Lego fans have a great attachment to. That is a printed piece. The display on the front of the arcade machine is a printed piece. We've got something which looks vaguely Galaga inspired here for the space game, but then if you look at all of the other details in here, there's a bunch of really neat stickers, and you might think, oh, stickers, yeah, but it's okay because these are good stickers, right? These are the kinds of stickers that I like to see where clearly a lot of thought has gone into each and every one of them. We have here game, that's nice and generic. We have a bunch of boxed consoles up here, which are all nicely generic. Nothing that is too recognizable, although there are a few little things in here that just might tease your memory a little bit. And then we've got Junkbot. That is a reference to a game that used to be on the Lego website. So it's a Lego owned game, which is why the Lego group can include it specifically. It's brilliant to see it brought back and referenced here because it is one of those deep cuts that most people are not necessarily going to get, but every so often a Lego fan is going to look at this and go, oh, I remember Junkbot, that was brilliant. Then you've got this TV or monitor over here which is showing something that looks an awful lot like Outrun. Again, it's not quite Outrun, the video game, but it looks so similar that the Lego group is not fooling anybody here. Again though, nice for the Lego group, they didn't have to pay a license just to have a little sticker in here that shows a car, because you can't copyright the concept of a TV showing the back of a car. If we look at that sticker on the back, some people have claimed that this is a reference to insectoids. I feel like that is just maybe stretching credulity a little bit. That is possibly an overreach, but certainly it does look a little bit insectoid-oid. I said when I talked about this set previously that this looks an awful lot like a play date. In that video I was able to hold a play date and show it to you. Unfortunately I can't do it this time because my play date is currently on the way back to Panic Inc. so that they can send me a replacement unit because the B button stopped working. This thing here looks like a Nintendo DS. I'm guessing that's a Dreamcast. Certainly it's got the 4 controller ports that a Dreamcast would have. That thing looks vaguely Xbox-ish. I'm not even going to pin down which kind of Xbox, but it gives off Xbox vibes. And then you've got this cute little robot and you've got another arcade machine up on the shelf. Maybe that is this arcade machine. Maybe this is some kind of arcade machine inception situation. Then up the top here, we've got, well, that looks like another Galaxy Explorer or another thing from Classic Space. The LEGO Group loves to use this Classic Space colour scheme for little builds within larger LEGO sets. I think because they know that LEGO fans always respond well to seeing this kind of thing, but it works very well in a LEGO set which is supposed to be an arcade machine based around space. One thing that I find interesting about this design is it's got these pipes to it. It's got the sense that this is maybe like a basement man cave in particular, or possibly like a loft space, I don't know, rather than being somebody's like actual spare room that's been turned into a man cave. This definitely gives off the vibes of someone who doesn't see a lot of sunlight when they're down in their gaming room. Something I really like about this is the shaping here to this design. This is so well put together. There is a nice hinge there which has given us that classic arcade kind of set back monitor design where the monitor is angled so that people standing in front of it can see it nice and clearly and also reach the buttons underneath the screen. I think that that is neat. I think that it could have been cool to have a kind of a CRT look to this with a convex screen to it. Of course that would have required a unique LEGO element and indeed would have been potentially quite difficult to print on, so I can understand why the LEGO Group didn't do that. Plus, if you look at a bunch of modern arcade machines, even ones that are recreating classic games, you will probably see a flat screen instead, just because those are an awful lot cheaper and easier to get hold of. And those classic CRT televisions, while they're enjoying a kind of a kitsch revival now, as a lot of people are discovering them hipster-like and saying, oh, actually, I quite like the way that things look on these older screens, they are dated technology and they are something of an outlier for gaming collectors at the moment. I did have an idea here, right? I looked at this and the screen size on the arcade machine, and I looked at my Mii Mini, which is an emulation handheld that can play retro or homebrew games, and I did think to myself, it would be really nice if I could kind of slot that in somewhere, maybe take out some parts and use that as a dock for this, but unfortunately it's so close to being the perfect size, but this is just a little bit too wide here, and I would need to take out an additional row of bricks, and that would then kind of just throw everything off, and so I've not quite figured out a way of marrying these two just yet, and I'm probably not going to bother because that's a lot more work than I can be bothered to put into this. Nevertheless though, I feel like this one is going to pair very well with the Game Boy, which is going to be coming out soon as well, which is another one that I feel like people are going to try and insert actual hardware into to make it playable, but even as a standalone thing, even if you've not got anything else gaming related in your lineup, I do genuinely recommend this as a cute little build that you can put on display. It's significantly more affordable than the PAC-MAN Arcade machine if you just want a neat little arcade build to put on your shelf. I do feel like the LEGO Group is onto something with this kind of design, where on the outside it is a recreation of gaming hardware, and on the inside you've got this little kind of diorama scene. It's very similar to, for example, the Atari LEGO set that we got. It is very similar to the PAC-MAN Arcade machine, as mentioned. It is also a little bit similar to the currently available gift with purchase, just at the time this video is going out, which is that brilliant Mega Drive controller that you flip over and then it's got that little Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone scene. It's not quite the same. That's more akin to the Nintendo Entertainment System, but it is just, it's a neat idea to have the hardware on the outside and then some kind of diorama on the inside. I would like to see more of these from the LEGO Group. It's kind of a shame that the Game Boy doesn't have that as well, now that I think of it. All in all though, not much negative to say about this one. It does everything that it should do, and it does it very well. I can, definitely recommend this if you're into this kind of LEGO set. The only thing I would say is that it is a little bit pricey for what you get, and unfortunately that is just the state of LEGO at the moment, but especially because the LEGO Group is not paying a license for this set, it does feel like, does it need to be quite that expensive? Oh well, I don't set these things prices. Hopefully you can get it on a good deep discount at some point, or at least just some kind of discount, and maybe save yourself a little bit of money, because it would be nice if this were a little bit cheaper. If you are going to be purchasing this from the LEGO website though, do make sure that you use the affiliate link in the description or the QR code that is on screen. They take you straight to the LEGO website, and it doesn't cost you a penny extra to use those links, but it does genuinely help out the YouTube channel because we get a percentage of the sale. That is brilliant for funding the Brick Fanatics YouTube channel, and the website helps us to keep making videos and additional content for you. Now, given that this one is already on store shelves, a lot of you watching this might already have this set and want to know whether or not you are vindicated in that purchase. I definitely think that you are, but do let us know your thoughts on the set in the comments down below, and do all of the rest of the YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Otherwise, you can go to brickfanatics.com for coverage of all things LEGO and sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything LEGO related ever again. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day.